Jai Hind to everyone. Those who have missed yesterday's discussion in the webinar, that was part one. And since it was not conclusive and subject is so vast, we decided to continue for the second part of this China's doomsday. Whether China will be actually doomed, that is $1 million question. But are we prepared? That is another multi-million-dollar question. As citizens, we need to be not only informed, we need to be prepared. And with that objective, we decided to hold this webinar. And Major General Navneet Kumar Chanamedal, he is chairman of Patriots Forum, the second part. So, General Navneet Kumar, I request you to make your opening statement for 5 minutes, and thereafter, Professor Kapil Kumar. Yesterday, Professor Kapil Kumar started the discussion and ended also. So, this time, honor goes to you. Thank you.
थैंक यू। सबको मेरा नमस्कार। तो कल हमने काफी चीजें डिस्कस की थी चाइना के बारे में, और चाइना जो समय वो एक बहुत सोची समझी साजिश के तहत ही कर रहा है। ये कोई उसका नी जर्क रिएक्शन नहीं है। एम आई ऑडिबल?
यस।
ये जो चाइना के रिएक्शन है स्पेशली इंडिया के खिलाफ, ये कोई नी जर्क रिएक्शन नहीं है। चाइना एक बहुत ही सोची सी एक साजिश या एक प्लानिंग के हिसाब से उसने ये इंग्रेस किया है, और ये जो उनका इंट्रूजन है ये बिल्कुल हाईएस्ट लेवल से कोऑर्डिनेटेड है। इसके स्ट्रेटेजिक एम्स तो है ही हैं जो हमने कल डिस्कस किए थे, कि बेसिकली एक मैसेज देना चाहता है पूरे वर्ल्ड को कि भाई चाइना को ऊपर आप उंगली नहीं उठा सकते हो। अगर आप चाइना के ऊपर उंगली उठाओगे तो चाहे वो अपना उनका ऑडियंस हो, चाहे वो कोई फॉरेन नेशन हो, कि हम आपको नहीं बख्शेंगे, हम आपको जो है उसके लिए कोई हमारे किताब में माफी नहीं है। तो इस तरह का जो है एटीट्यूड है चाइना का अपने पूरे जितने भी इसके नेबर्स हैं, 14 कंट्रीज हैं, और 18 कंट्रीज के साथ में इसका जो टेरिटोरियल डिस्प्यूट चल रहा है, और सबके साथ में इसने बड़ा एग्रेसिव स्टांस लिया है। हालांकि वुहान वायरस के कारण इस समय चाइना इस बुरी तरह से गिरा होने के कारण ये ऐसी अपेक्षा की जाती थी कि वो थोड़ा सा जो है सबड्यू होगा और थोड़ा सा अपनी अप्रोच को बदली करेगा, परंतु ऑन द कॉन्ट्ररी चाइना हैज बिकम मोर एग्रेसिव। क्योंकि पहले तो उसको लगता है कि इकोनॉमिकली उसने काफी नुकसान पहुंचा दिया है अपने दुश्मन देशों को, जो कि एक फैक्ट भी है। इसके साथ साथ उसने मिलिट्री बिल्डअप इतना और मिलिट्री मॉडर्नाइजेशन उसने इस हिसाब से कर लिया है कि उसको लगता है कि वो इस स्टेज में है जबकि वो अपने मिलिट्री मसल को फ्लेक्स कर सके, और एक डेमोन्स्ट्रेशन वो देना चाहता है। परेड वो पहले ही कर चुका है कुछ साल पहले, जिसमें उसने दिखाया थी कि क्या कैपेबिलिटी है चाइना की। तो अभी जो है चाइना इस स्टेज पे पहुंच गया है कि वो उसका प्रैक्टिकल डेमोन्स्ट्रेशन करने को तैयार है। तो उसने भारत को, इंडिया को सबसे पहले चुना है क्योंकि हम उनके साथ नेबर हैं, और कुछ समय से जो हमने कुछ एक स्टेटमेंट्स दी हैं जो चाइना को अच्छी नहीं लगी, चाहे वो इन्वेस्टिगेशन था इस वायरस के खिलाफ, या हमारा स्टांस था साउथ चाइना सी में, या ताइवान के साथ जो हमने थोड़े बहुत अपने रिलेशंस इंप्रूव करने शुरू किए हैं, या यूएस के साथ में हमारी जो क्लोजनेस बढ़ रही है। ये सब चीजें जो है चाइना को अखर रही थी। इसके साथ साथ सीपीईसी जो कॉरिडोर है उसके ऊपर जो है हमारा उनका साथ ना देना, और ओबी के ऊपर हमारे ऑब्जेक्शंस। तो इन सब चीजों को मद्देनजर रखते हुए चाइना ने इंडिया को एक लेसन सिखाने के लिए इसने ये मिलिट्री मसल्स अपने फ्लेक्स किए हैं। थोड़ा जो मिसकैलकुलेशन मैं कह सकता हूँ वो चाइना के लिए यही हुआ है कि इस बारी जो इंडियन आर्मी ने जो कार्य किया है वो थोड़ा सा चाइना के लिए अनएक्सपेक्टेड था। तो इस चीज को मद्देनजर रखते हुए हम जो है आगे डिस्कस करेंगे कि इसका क्या फॉलो आउट हो सकता है। क्या चाइना का जो है इंडिया के खिलाफ क्या कोई बिगर डिजाइन है कि जैसे हम सुन रहे थे कि कुछ एक कंट्रीज इंक्लूडिंग जापान, उन्होंने अपनी कंपनीज को बताया कि आप चाइना को छोड़ के हिंदुस्तान के अंदर मूव कर जाओ, या आप चाइना में हम जो है अपना प्रोडक्शन बंद करेंगे। क्या चाइना का ये मकसद है कि ऐसी सिचुएशन क्रिएट की जाए इंटरनली और बॉर्डर के ऊपर, ताकि जो फॉरेन इन्वेस्टमेंट्स हैं वो इंडिया में ना आए और चाइना का इंटरेस्ट हार्म ना हो? या चाइना अपनी ऑडियंस को ही एक मैसेज देना चाहता है कि आप जो है थोड़ा सा संभल के रहिए, या उनकी जो इकोनॉमी है जो इसको नुकसान पहुंचा है उससे ध्यान भटकाना चाहता है अपनी पब्लिक का? तो ये कुछ एक रीजन है जो चाइना इस स्टेज में है, जो उसने हम इस स्टेज पर पहुंच गए हैं चाइना के साथ। तो भाई हम देखते हैं कि क्या हमारे लिए ऑप्शंस हैं और फर्दर चाइना हमें क्या डैमेज कर सकता है। थैंक यू।
Thank you, Jan Navneet Kumar. Yesterday also you made mention, and today also you made the mention that China does whatever it does and declares it to be with the intention to teach a lesson. So, so teaching the lesson is historically the phrase used by China, और इसी वजह से कल तो शायद मुझे चाइना को भी नमन करना चाहिए था शिक्षक दिवस पर, क्योंकि सन 65 की लड़ाई में भी उसने कहा था कि वी वांटेड टू टीच ए लेसन। तो प्रोफेसर साहब यहाँ से आप शुरू कीजिए कि हाउ चाइना हैज डिसाइडेड टू बिकम विश्व गुरु, टीचिंग लेसन टू एवरीवन।
मैंने कल भी एक बात कही थी और आज मैं उसको रिपीट कर रहा हूं कि स्ट्रॉन्ग इंडिया is not to be tolerated by any country. Let us remember this. Whether it is China or whether it is the Western world. Please understand one thing. कि एक चाइना जब इकोनॉमिक जॉइंट खड़ा हो गया तो वेस्टर्न इकोनॉमीज का क्या हाल हो गया, और अगर इंडिया एक इकोनॉमिक जॉइंट खड़ा होता है वर्ल्ड में तो वेस्टर्न इकोनॉमीज का क्या हाल होगा। इसलिए वी हैव टू बी वेरी कॉशियस एट दैट पॉइंट ऑल्सो। सेकेंड थिंग, प्लीज रिमेंबर दैट China is in total league with Ghazwa-e-Hind and Jihadi ISI and ISIS elements. Don't forget that for geopolitical reasons, Americans created Taliban against the Russians, which again boomeranged on them. That is a different matter. Bad calculations. Same thing China is doing. If you look at China's last few years, the way China supported the jihadis in the UN will not let them be declared terrorists. The way it tried to open up with Iran, thinking that Iran is against US and that conflict is going on. The way it supports the jihadi regime in Pakistan. So China is in total link with them at all. There is no second thought about it. Then China tried to disintegrate India through internal forces by using Naxalites and Maoists and all. It couldn't happen. That's a different matter. But our governments were sleeping when China was moving into these regions through Nepal. There are all reports of RAW and IB. A common inspector also in IB and RAW knows was Pakistan ISI is doing into India by moving from those regions. It is the damn politicians at that time who in this bye-bye thing and to be a soft policy didn't take a stand into this kind of an aspect. Now what to do? When I was in Switzerland, I asked a question from the Swiss people. Why did Hitler did not attack Switzerland? And among other factors, very interesting reason which came out in my questions was that Hitler realized that in Switzerland, in every village, every house has a gun. And if he moves his army into Switzerland like this, it will be a street fight, and he didn't want to lose his armed forces going into that kind of battle when he was fighting both Soviet Union and these allies kind of. Now, I have been saying this, and I'm feeling very happy that this 15th August, the Prime Minister declared it from Red Fort. I had been tweeting it for last 2 months. all border regions of India, where we have our ex-army men, our great veterans who have fought the wars, my salute to them. They should be given the job of training the local population in handling the arms and armaments and all, and create a position that China should know that if they enter any 1 feet of Indian territory, even the villager and a shepherd will fight the Chinese with its guns. This is what is required there in these regions, whether it is right from Arunachal to Leh over there. This is the thing required. Every Indian citizen on the borders has to be trained in first aid, that they can give immediate medical treatment to these kind of things. And these should be made aware to both China and Pakistan that it is not just our Indian army, which is the most very great army in the world to teach you a lesson, but our citizens also are standing strongly behind the army with arms and everything to fight you out. This kind of a situation has to go out to there. We have to do it this for our coastal regions. Our army, navy may be very strong, but our navy can't defend every coast in India. So we have to arm. We have to arm our fishermen. We have to arm our... Remember that the Ghazi 71 thing, it was a fisherman who told us that the Ghazi was there when it was done away with. We have to train these people very strongly into these kind of things, move into that. And this open policy of borders with Bangladesh and Nepal and all that, I think it is high time it is to be stopped. And one more thing I'll point it out here. You see, in any country, if someone comes to our country taking an Indian visa and disappears, that country goes mad. Where is my national gone in your country? And from Pakistan, more than lakh of Pakistanis came to India taking legal valid visas in India, and they disappeared. I know that the number from my hometown, Meerut, is alone, and they disappeared among the Indian population. And they are working for the ISI and all these things. Why can't our agencies inside trace these enemies who are hiding in India and who have disappeared in India? I am not bothered. I know my defense forces, sir. You people are so strong. You will take care at the borders if any fight takes place. What my fear today is that what the internal sabotage will be here, how to handle that internal sabotage, like the Shaheen Bagh or what has happened in Bangalore or what happened in Delhi riots. How to handle this kind of a thing, because this is their strategy at the moment, that at borders they will do this and here they will do this.
राइट, थैंक यू प्रोफेसर साहब। इसके बारे में फिर दोबारा से चर्चा करेंगे। इस बीच में कुछ सवाल आ गए हैं और देयर इज वन क्वेश्चन फ्रॉम ब्रिगेडियर नवरेकर, अदर क्वेश्चन इज फ्रॉम मिस्टर अधिराज एंड थर्ड क्वेश्चन इज फ्रॉम एल्फ्रेड। प्रोफेसर Kapil Kumar, question was to you only, even when you are not mentioned, but you are the one who has mentioned about the Ghazwa attempt. I was also wondering, the moment you mentioned Ghazwa Hind, I was also wondering what is the relationship of, when we discuss things about China, what is the link with Ghazwa Hind? Because China's policy towards Muslims is well known. So wonder how China is going to support Muslim aspirations and the campaign. The question is from Mr. Adiraj. Please substantiate the statement that China is with Ghazwa Hind elements. China is oppressing Muslim in Xinjiang. So how is it possible?
See, let me tell you one thing very clearly. That Pakistan killed more lakhs of Bengali Muslims in Bangladesh, and it still talks of Islam and still talks of as a champion of Muslims. Don't forget that Pakistan kills Baloch Muslims every day. Don't forget that Pakistan kills Afghan Muslims every day. Don't forget that Pakistan kills Kashmiri Muslims. So this whole question that it is because just Muslims and China is exploiting Muslims and all, I agree. I don't agree with it. It is bullshit. China knows what their nationalism is. So there they will suppress them. And here Pakistan knows what is their nationalism. They want to kill India. So they will die. You see, there is no criticism of China by Pakistan for the Uyghurs. Why? Tell me how many Islamic nations have criticized China for that exploitation of Muslims? That is why I'm saying that underneath, that is the understanding which is going on, which we have to realize. I try to analyze the facts. If
Right,
the
right.
facts speak,
That your response seems very logical. I do not know whether Mr. Mr. Adiraj is not audible. He is not seen also. After asking the question, he suddenly vanished. So I really don't know whether Mr. Adiraj is convinced or not. But to me, it appears to be logical, and it is very dirty game, being played out there. The players are not, following any norms, so that might be quite a possibility. So another question comes to Navneet Kumar, and it is from Brigadier Devrekar. And I know the question, and I also know how it would be your response only. Why it is talking about the core subject you have entered. Our defense forces are doing a marvelous job in the affected area against China. However, we do not hear any official brief from the army. This happened in Kargil even after surgical strike. Why not now? Any specific reasons? So this question would be better answered by the establishments itself, not by then Navneet. But then we can still hazard a response here.
Question is very valid and it keeps coming. It is about the media briefing by the army establishment. Am I right?
Okay. Now I got the confirmation from Mr. Adiraj, and he is convinced. At least point of satisfaction for Professor Kapil. You have taught us well, Professor Saab. I noticed one veteran of 71 operation, Commander Bhushan Dewan, and he is eminently qualified. Jain sir, you are very, very right by making your presence here. And you also have your perspective. Yesterday, you spoke on one TV channel, and I have seen that interview. तो मैं आपसे रिक्वेस्ट करता हूँ कि ये सारा जो डिस्कशन अभी आपने देखा है, कल तो शायद आप बिजी थे इसलिए नहीं आ पाए थे. आपका भी जो पर्सपेक्टिव है, वुड यू लाइक टू शेयर योर व्यूज on what is going around?
Thank you very much, Captain Tyagi. And you are absolutely right. I was very keen to attend yesterday's session also. I could not. If you permit me, first I would like to address a question to Professor Kapil Kumar, and then I'll speak out my perspective. My question to Professor Kapil Kumar, which you don't mind, if you don't mind, Professor Saab, you can answer after 2-3 minutes of my Sambodhan. My two questions. You have said that you see, no Western country would like to see a country like Oriental country like China or for that matter India emerging as a technological economical power. Correct. Now with this background, you see in 1972, about 50 years back, I want to ask, how come China, Russia, America, which planned their long-term strategy for dominating the world for years together, how did they come up with a situation? How did they let the genie out of the bag? In the sense that China has been started, Kissinger came, then Nixon came, and from that day, 50 years back till today, we find China is knocking at the doors of America, trying to dethrone them from the numero uno position. Number one, and number two, if you say that India to emerge as an economic power, it is quite, see, China is $15 trillion economy. We are just $3 trillion. Our per capita GDP is just $2,000. China is $10,000. Country like Switzerland, which you mentioned, I was there last year in November for a UNO conference, $86,000. Country like Sweden, 3 lakh people, 3 crore people, that is about $60,000. And Norway, $80,000. I mean, are we a potential? I mean, where are we on the horizon economic landscape that Western countries are threatened of our growth? We are not able to get our act together. No company of ours is in the league in large scale, and the GDP is so low. So these are two questions. If you don't mind, you can kindly keep with you, and I'd like to hear your response. Before that, I'm obliged to Captain Tyagi once again. Let me share my perspective. I had a view. This is it, just to add on. This is not for countering anything, just to add on. My understanding is that 2013, when Jinping ascended the throne, you see what had happened. he after that, in order to consolidate his power, he has done two, three things. You see, in a dictatorship kind of scenario, every new guy who comes, he has to do something to establish his power to make changes. For example, slight diversion in MBS, I mean Suleiman in Saudi, what he's doing is trying to liberalize a lot of things. Women can drive now, women can work in malls now, so many other things. Reducing the powers of mutabas, I mean the religious police. If you know what happened in Saudi when I traveled there, I find in the bus also, mutaba is traveling with a stick. Any woman even pallu bhi gir jayega to usko maar sakta hai wo. So all that he's trying to dethrone them, the established people, so that he can re-establish a new order. And in trying to do that, you find he's meeting with a lot of opposition. And in that, another thing is happening. Saudi, till today, has been the leader of Sunni world. You see, the Gulf countries, the Sunni world led by Saudi, the Shia world led by Iran, Qatar, and Turkey and Malaysia. Now, you see, these four countries are trying to support. Qatar is not in this, but Iran, Turkey, and even this Malaysia, they try to support using Pakistan. They raised the Kashmir issue also. OIC, which is Sunni dominated, didn't touch Pakistan at all. In fact, they are now telling Pakistan, come on, you have gone to the side of China, and China has embraced Iran, the Shia people, you are our enemy also, get lost, give our dollars back. So that is a scenario over there. Now I have a question that I have a point. So this issue in a capitalist, in a dictatorship kind of system, new guy who comes, he has to do something new. What Jinping has done, two major things he has done. What he has done, he has tried to change power equations. There are those cartels within the Chinese Communist Party. He has to destroy their power. They work more like, like the Fauji Foundation operating in Pakistan. He's trying to destroy their power. So they are in trouble. They're after him. Second very big thing he has done, PLA. Senior generals of PLA have been retired voluntarily by Jinping. They are also against him. Third thing, due to Corona, their economy is quite down. And fourth thing, I'll share with you, correct me if I'm wrong on this. My understanding is the dictatorship kind of economy that they are still in industry 2.0. The world has now moved into the Western world, has moved into industry 4.0. Now 2.0 is middle income trap. They are there. Now that has run out its course. In next 5 to 7 years, it would have run out its course. Today, China is dominating the world markets, whether Walmart, stores, anything. How? Toilet paper, napkins and rubber, eraser, those kind of things. They have not gone into the big cars and so on and so forth. And 4.0 is highly innovation-oriented, entrepreneurship-oriented ecosystem. They don't have it. They can't get it. Because even today, Huawei and all the big companies, I got a job offer from Huawei. I didn't take it up. I joined vice president of TCS. In there, it's all American army-controlled organizations, all regimented. You see, they can't move in industry 4.0. And now with trade war, America is pushing China, stop, don't devalue your yuan. They have devalued yuan 2 months back to fight the trade war with China and with USA. So all that, China is under pressure of losing their economic status, clout. So what has Jinping done? Corona, let loose Corona and divert the attention of the public internally and then come to LAC with us. The point is, China doesn't want a war. See, band mutti laag ki, khul gayi rakh ki. So if they fight, they'll be exposed badly. And they can't fight, number one. Number two, in Taiwan and South China Sea, they've done monkey business for 40 years. You know, the South China Sea looks small. It is 39 lakh square kilometers. More than the India's landmass, which is 35 lakh square kilometers. I don't know. Two things, Professor Saab, you can tell me, a history professor, two things. You know what? 2013 Jinping came and he came with OBOR. I don't know why any country will let OBR be allowed and let them get access to warm water, and they allowed it, and now it's a very big thing, big genie it has become. And second thing, 2016, this South China Sea control is not today. 50 years it chal raha hai. After Second World War, when Japan surrendered part of the excess powers, these Paracel Islands, Spratly Islands, they were in the control of Japan. China took over, and now China has drawn 9. Okay, 1 minute more. 9 dots line. In the 9 dots line, they have gone up to Taiwan, Philippines, Brunei, Malaysia, Indonesia, and Vietnam. Gone to the territorial waters, and that is not 39 lakh square kilometers. Gas and petroleum more than Kuwait, fourth largest. 30% of world trade passes from there. How America has allowed this, even after UN clause, United Nations Convention of Law of Sea, after UN clause in 2016 ruled in Hague that China get lost. This is not 9 dots, is not the boundary. Shit, America didn't do anything. पता नहीं उनकी ट्रेजरी खाली हो गई है. 2013 से कुछ नहीं किया चाइना के अगेंस्ट. चलो दे रहा है दुरुस्त है. लेट अस सी क्या होता है. कुछ ना कुछ तो इलेक्शन के पहले होना ही चाहिए. Thank you so much. I will request Professor Kapil Kumar.
Before Professor Kapil Kumar responds to the questions from Commander Bhushan Devan, there is one question from Captain Alfred. Alfred, the question was from Captain Alfred, and nature of question tells me that response should be coming from you only. His question is that China's role in Maldives and Sri Lanka, how much India can be affected? So you can bring that perspective from kind of strong knowledge you have, Commander Bhushan Devan.
Yeah, actually, what has happened? I think, frankly speaking, if you look at America also, USA also, finally, how did they control Japan and Europe and Germany? You know, they had their Marshall Plan, and a lot of money is pumped in. You see, Sam Dam Dand Bhed. Only after money is pumped in, both cheez chahiye. Money pumped in, then you start controlling. That's what they've done. And with almost today, the $1.5 trillion is the money being lent out to so many 130 countries in the world by China. Many African countries. So what you do, first give them money. Like, you know, many, I will not name it, many missionaries, they give you money. Then they ask you loan back. You can't pay, okay, give us land. Hamantota, Maldives, of course, I visited fortunately Maldives February this year. A huge bridge is being made over the sea. There are many, of course, islands there. And somehow I came to know that India couldn't complete the task. So I feel very sad that we could not deliver. And Africa countries are dying to embrace us. And they have to perforce embrace China. They don't like China because China, when they come to build roads in Africa, I was senior vice president Adani Group, electrician जो है, power plant बन रही China बना रहा है, electrician भी अपने लेके आते हैं. So nobody likes China. This is the kind of thing they do, that they don't want to employ local people even for small menial jobs. अभी क्या हो रहा है? So they don't like. But India can't step in because we are, I think we just can't get our act together. We are politically fighting. वो अच्छा है, नेहरू ने किया, इसने किया, and all that. Now, I think Maldives also, frankly, what is our strong point? Our strong point is that cultural nations. But weak point is we have no money and we don't have the ability to, gumption to complete things. I was talking to a guy, my friend in Nepal, is sitting in Vietnam. मतलब he was on the verge of crying. अरे नेपाल कभी डिपेंडेंट किसी सर्वाइवल नहीं बना और आप हमें दबा रहे हैं काला पानी में. अरे भाई है, बात करो. आप मोदी क्या कर रहा है? You know what I'm saying is we have, जो हमारे छोटे नेबर्स हैं, अकबर कहता था, if I have to deal with small guys, deal with them with love. To deal with big guys, deal with डंडा. हमारा उल्टा हो रहा है. 4 महीने हम चाइना को कहते रहे, अरे ठीक है, हम तो बड़े नॉन वायलेंस से कुछ नहीं करेंगे. अब हम जागे हैं, SFF आई है और हमने कैप्चर किया है. हाथी की तरह हम जाग गए हैं. You know, we take line. हाथी चढ़ता है, मौत को भी गिरा देता है. बट ये मालदीव्स के अंदर दे रहा है, दुरुस्त है. हम, मुझे लगता है, if we really, our diplomats, our country, our companies also, because they are our ambassadors. बड़ी बड़ी कंपनियां रैली है या मैकडोनल्ड डगलस है, दे आर सी प्राइवेट कंपनी. कंट्री का क्या काम है? जब चाइना कश्मीर का विलय हुआ इंडिया में, 3 चीजें नहीं दी. करेंसी नहीं दी उनको, डिफेंस नहीं दिया, करेंसी नहीं दी, एक्सटर्नल नहीं दिया. एट द एंड ऑफ द डे कंट्री हैज टू डू दीज थिंग मेनली. तो उसमें क्या होगा? हम प्राइवेट कंपनी बनाएंगे, मैन्युफैक्चरिंग करेंगी. तो हमारी कंट्री ने फैसिलिटेट करना है, तो वी कैन स्टिल एस्टेब्लिश कंट्रोल. नहीं तो लाइक साउथ चाइना सी, IOR, इंडियन ओशन रीजन, यहाँ भी लोग आ जाएंगे. एंड तो इंटरनेशनल वाटर्स, हमें अपना प्रेजेंस बनाना है. अभी हमने नहीं बनाया तो ये हमको तकलीफ होगी. शुरू कर दिया हमने. सो एनीवे, थैंक यू त्यागी साहब.
Now over to Professor Kapil Kumar. If you remember the questions.
I do remember. See, sir, General Bhushan, what was happening after 72 when Nixon and all came? See, that was a time when the Cold War was still going on between Russia and America for dominance.
Right.
And China had aligned in the Cold War with Russia always. And American strategy was to break China in the Cold War from Russia at that time. So they were turning a blind eye to China, that what China is doing. And sir, yesterday I made a statement, I'll remember, because sir, we missed you yesterday. I made a statement that what China did, China learned from the Soviet debacle. Why did
Acha.
Soviet Union go down? Because
Uh-huh.
they were trying to import and control the world through revolutions and by making communist parties, and they didn't pay attention to the economy, and they failed there. China, what China did first was to build up a strong economy, and after becoming an economic power, then moving into control. Those, as you said, that they will now. I said they are the biggest money lender.
No.
Money lender, they will lend money and grab the land. So China did it very strategically, and our fully usually people don't learn lessons from history. I give this example. Had America learned, had Russia learned lesson from history, seeing the American debacle in Vietnam, they would not have moved into Afghanistan.
Yes.
They didn't know that the British fought 5-4 wars with Afghanistan. They could never control Afghanistan. And
Barring
still they
Ranjit
committed
Singh, nobody controlled.
and the same fault was committed again by the Americans when they moved into Afghanistan again with Taliban, this kind of a thing, and they can't move out in that. And in this process going on, China was given a clear field that slowly, like that story of that camel in the desert, moving into the tent. China started slowly moving into the economies, and by the time the Chinese could control these economies, and this Western world could wake up. Okay, what is happening? See what has happened in America. These have bought land. They have and no one knows what happens inside those lands and villas and places which they are having, giving the
Even in
CIA and FBI.
South America,
They
Latin
know what.
America also. Yeah.
Yes, sir. I have the
But sir,
experience of Caribbean countries, sir. I've seen there what they have done there. And in 2012, I warned my government. And I'll give you one very small example. I made a statement there that all the children of Indian diaspora, the Indian origin people there, should not be treated as foreigners. And they be given equal opportunity in Indian universities and Indian students. This came out in the newspapers there. Our government did nothing. And Chinese within a month declared that any student coming from Trinidad to China can study free in the Chinese university. And then I pointed out, you see, this is educational encirclement. This is cultural encirclement which is happening there, and they are not taking attack, and there are reasons for it. Sir, our bureaucracy, I am sorry to say,
yes,
our bureaucracy is still having a colonial hangover mind, and I have no
yes.
hesitation in saying that, sir, that their children study abroad. They are more interested in getting their children admissions over there and all, and blindly following those Western models and trying to import and implement over there, maybe in some other fashion. I'll come out on that, okay, the harm which is happening to the Indian brain and Indian mind by these kind of impositions on our youth over here in this country. Because what I am saying is, we have entered an age of mental enslavement. You don't have to enslave a country physically. You enslave the mind, and the country is yours. And that
Thank,
was happening luckily. You see what is happening in America today. These
thank you.
rights which are taking place there, China is very strongly backing up those rights. ISI is backing up those rights. That's why I'm saying that it is jihadi China combination and these so-called lefties and all who have always had a soft corner for them.
I raise one question addressed to Navneet Kumar. Then Navneet Kumar, yesterday when we started discussion, I made one request. We would also have in mind common citizens, how they understand the present situation, and if veterans are confused a little bit, then civilian citizens would be confused even more. And when
Acha.
we discuss about LOC and LAC, then as veteran we understand. For civilian, it can be easily confused with. And when, as a veteran, I understand LAC is the line of actual control, means there is no buffer zone. There is no, supposedly no buffer zone. So when we are discussing, referring LAC, we are discussing the situation, and then a very strong statement is shared to Indian citizen. No one came, no one went, no aggression, no defense. then I get confused. So, then Navneet Kumar, would you kindly explain the concept and how, in respect to LAC, no one went, no one came. This is, true.
Tanvi sir, we must give this credit to China for confusing the Indians. In fact, Chinese are capable and they have confused the entire world. Nobody could think that China will attack the world the way they have attacked. Similarly, they have been fooling the Indians since last 7 decades or maybe more. Ours was the first country to accept accession of Tibet by China. It is a shame. Even today, I find most of the people think that China does not want war. What do we mean by this? China has always waged war with you. He has already taken 2 steps. He has, let loose Wuhan virus on you. Today we are the second highest figure. He has brought down your economy. He's intruded into your territory. What else you want? How do people say that China does not want war? Now, let us take at least one of the posts which has been occupied by China since 1960 till today. Let me say Indian Army or the Indian establishment, even taking one post back from China. Be it Samdrongchu, wherever they have come in last 60 years, they are sitting there. And mind you, at many places they are without defenses. They know India does not have the guts to attack. So here, I would like to make one point. Professor Saab has very rightly said that we must, empower our masses and we must become more and more, defense oriented. But our neighbors, Pakistan and China, who are the main enemies, their aim is to finish India. And if we only take the defensive measures, we will never be able to counter these 2 rogue nations. Time has come wherein not we take strong stand, we also become proactive. We got to be aggressive with these 2 countries. Now, since the time is running out, Tyagi, I would like to just that LAC you made that point. I must say that again the credit goes to China. In various agreements which we had with the China over a period of time, every time they say, okay, let's maintain the peace and tranquility on the LAC. So let's have a demilitarized zone. So this buffer, what we call it, actually a demilitarized zone, wherein both the armies or the nation, they decided, okay, we will not deploy within 10 kilometer or 20 kilometer of the line of actual control. And as you rightly said, Chinese, they don't mince their words. They say that we are in our own territory, or we are, whenever they come inside, they are within their own territory. They are not in Indian territory. And look at our stance as a nation. We always say it is a buffer zone. LAC is not demarcated. What do we mean by that? We have been patrolling those areas for last 20 years, and today we say that it is not demarcated and it is a buffer zone, or it is a common zone where China has come. So we are telling lie. Let me say in simple word at the end, we are telling lie when we say that he has not intruded. Thank you.
Thank you, Navneet. Question came very late from Captain Sanjay Saxena, and he's asking, in today's scenario, what is the relevance of words, bodies like UN, SCO, BRICS? And he also wants to know, what do we achieve by banning Chinese apps?
Let me say, these international bodies have no value. They may have value for trade, for making money, and for those things. You tell me which single conflict in the world UN has solved, whether the Korean or whether the Palestine or whether in Africa or whether India Pakistan or India China or anyone. This is absurd, because certain it's a the way the UN is structured, it can never solve that out. I have no hope from this kind of a thing in relation to that. Secondly, I'd like to say what the second part of the question was. One was this UN thing, and the other was
What do we
apps.
achieve by banning the apps?
You see, apps banning means a lot. See, let me tell you one thing. Today I've been saying this, that this war is now no more a war of missiles and rockets and guns and bombs. It is also a cyber war, and this cyber war is has very important role to play. this is also a war of ideas now. This is also an economic war. This is also a medical war now, with corona being used as a kind of instrument in the war. So India has to fight war at many fronts now. We have to be. You see, there was recently this defense university which is made. I was asked by someone. We had a 2-hour session, and I told them, okay, please open departments like Department of Cyber War, which you need in the next few years to come. And I have been saying this, that this time has gone, that we may say we have Rafale and we have M29 and all. It is time to tell China, look, our Rafale is doing this to you. Our T-92 is doing this to you. And once I tell you, you beat them up, you will see them running away.
Right, sir. Thank you very much. Time is definitely running out. It is absolute pleasure to have all the participants uh, who were present here, even those questions which were not asked by the individual concerned, but those questions added value to the session. Things are going to be a bit clear for the uninitiated common citizens. They would understand the subject now better with all your analysis.